Hello guys, welcome to my 10. So in this video we are going to look at the anatomy of the small intestine. So basically the small intestine will extend from the pylorus to the ileocecal junction. Pylorus to the ileocecal junction. So it is about 6 meter long and it is divided into 3 parts. It's about 6 meters long and it is divided into 3 parts which are known as the duodenum, jejunum and the ileum. So the most proximal part is the duodenum and it is also the most fixed part. It is the most proximal part as well as it is the most fixed part of the small intestine. So basically what happens, this is the stomach, right? Extension from the stomach. Extending from the stomach, this is the pylorus and the initial part is the duodenum, and the duodenum will continue as the jejunum and finally it will enter the cecum. It will enter the cecum. So this extending from the pylorus to the ileocecal junction, this part complete is the small intestine. So this is the proximal duodenum and this next one is the jejunum and finally we have the ileum. So the proximal fixed part, which is about 10 inches in length, it is called as the duodenum. So duodenum is approximately 10 inches in length or 25 centimeters and it is the most fixed part, and the rest jejunum and the ileum are freely mobile. The duodenum is principally retroperitoneal and it is fixed, and the duodenum will receive chyme from the stomach and bile from the gallbladder and also the pancreatic juice from the pancreas. And the why duodenum fixation is very important, because the mobile duodenum will cause twisting and kinking of the small intestine. If the duodenum is mobile, it will cause the twisting and kinking of the small intestine. That's why it is fixed, and it is intimately related to the pancreas and the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. And the jejunum and ileum are principally concerned with digestion and absorption of the food. Jejunum and ileum are principally concerned with the digestion and absorption of the food. So these two parts will form the small intestine proper. Small intestine proper is formed by the jejunum and ileum. So the complete anatomy of duodenum I have discussed in another anatomy video. Please make sure to watch that. Now we will discuss about the jejunum and the ileum. So coming to jejunum and ileum. So basically the small intestine proper will extend from the duodenojejunal flexure. Duodenojejunal flexure to the ileocecal junction. Ileocecal junction. So the small intestine proper will extend from the duodenojejunal flexure to the ileocecal junction. Its upper 2/5 will form the jejunum. Upper 2/5 will form the jejunum and lower 3/5 will form the ileum. So upper 2/5 forms the jejunum and lower 3/4 forms the ileum. However, there is no definite line of demarcation. So the jejunum and ileum are suspended from the posterior abdominal wall by a large fold of peritoneum, which is called as the mesentery of the small intestine. We have the mesentery of the small intestine, which is nothing but as a large fold of the peritoneum from which the jejunum and ileum are hanging. Hence the small intestine will enjoy a considerable amount of mobility, and the structure of small intestine will correspond to its functional requirements. So what is the structure of the, coming to the structure, the wall of the small intestine will consist of 4 layers. Which are those four layers? It consists of the 4 layers. And what are the 4 layers? From inside to outside, we have the first one, we have the mucosa, and just after the mucosa we have the submucosa, and third layer we have the muscle layer, and finally outer to that we have the serosa. So the structure of the small intestine, it is divided into 4 layers. From inside to outside we have the mucosa, submucosa, then we have the muscle layer and the serosa. We will discuss in detail about each of the structure. Alright, so coming to the mucosa. So the mucosa will present with the 3 relevant features, which are nothing but as, so for digestion and absorption of the nutrients, the surface area of the mucous membrane is enormously increased by plicae circularis, villi and the microvilli. We have the first thing called as the plicae circularis, then we have the villi, and then we have the microvilli. So in the mucosa we have plica circularis, villi and the microvilli. So what are plica circularis? They are nothing but as the valves of, they are also called as the valves of Kerckring. Valves of Kerckring. These are nothing but as circular folds which are permanent. These are circular folds which are permanent and they are not obliterated by distension. Permanent and they are not obliterated by the distension. Upon distension they are not going to go, not obliterated by distension. So coming to villi, what are villi? So the villi are the, to increase the surface area of these circular folds, it is thrown into small projections. Villi are nothing but as a finger like projections, which are about 0.5 mm in length, and they are being projected from these circular folds to increase the surface area. And what are microvilli? Microvilli are nothing but as the surface epithelium. So microvilli are surface epithelium which are covering the villi and they are present as a small striated border. They are present in as the small striated border. These forms the microvilli. Microvilli are present on the villi and villi are present in the plica circularis or valves of Kerckring. So this forms the mucosa. So now we will discuss about the intestinal glands, which are nothing but as crypts of Leverkuhn. So coming to the intestinal glands, and these are also called as the crypts of Leverkuhn. So these intestinal glands, they are situated between the bases of the villi. So they are located between the bases of the villi, and the epithelium is invaginated in the lamina propria. The epithelium of these glands are invaginated in the lamina propria to form the intestinal glands. So what are the two intestinal lymphatic follicles we have? So the lamina propria of the mucous membrane will contain two types of lymphatic follicles. First one we have the solitary lymph follicles, and then we have the aggregated lymph follicles. We have the solitary lymph follicles and then we have the aggregated lymph follicles. So what are solitary lymph follicles? These are about 1 to 2 mm in diameter and are distributed throughout the length of the small intestine. They are up to 1 to 2 mm in diameter and they are distributed throughout the length of the small intestine. And then coming to the aggregated lymph follicles, these aggregated lymph follicles, they are nothing but as they are circular or oval patches which are called as the Peyer's patches. They are either circular or they are oval, and they are nothing but as the Peyer's patches. So each follicles and its length will vary from 2 to 10 centimeters. The length will vary from the 2 to 10 centimeters. They are present lengthwise along the antimesenteric border. So the Peyer's patches are small, circular, and then fewer in the distal part of the jejunum, and they are large, oval, and bigger in the proximal and distal part of the ileum. So this forms the intestinal glands, which are nothing but as crypts of Leverkuhn. Now we will discuss about the submucosa, muscle layer, and the serosa. Alright, so coming to the submucosa. So what do we have in the submucosa? Submucosa is nothing but as it is made up of the loose areolar tissue. It is made up of the loose areolar tissue, and it contains blood vessels, lymph vessels, and also nerve plexus, which is called as the Meissner's plexus. So the submucosa will contain the Meissner's plexus of nerves, and it also contains the blood vessels and the lymph vessels. So this is about the submucosa. Now coming to muscle layer. Muscle layer of the small intestine. It is made up of outer longitudinal and outer longitudinal muscles we have, and then inner, it is made up of inner circular muscles, and it also contains nerve plexus, which is called as the Auerbach's plexus of nerves. Auerbach's plexus of nerves. Auerbach's plexus of nerves is situated in the muscle layer, and Meissner's plexus of nerves are situated in the submucosa. Finally, we have serosa of the small intestine. So it is basically formed by the visceral peritoneum and is lined by the simple squamous epithelium. So it is lined by simple squamous epithelium and it is formed by the visceral peritoneum. It is formed by the visceral peritoneum. So this is about the introduction to the small intestine and interior of the small intestine, its structure, what it is made up of. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button and also share it to your other friends, and please make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much.